All right, hey there, everybody. This is my first tutorial. I'm going to show you how to make a pretty good dirty distortion for electro music. This is what it sounds like. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you how to do that. To try and keep the video as short as possible, I'm just going to have you copy these settings. So go ahead and open up Sylenth, and go to your menu and go to Init preset, initialize it, and go ahead and just copy these settings. I've got the first oscillator on saw wave, 2 voices. Do the polyphony here, put it at 1. Go ahead and detune this first oscillator a little bit to about 2.5. Mess around with the stereo. The stereo is similar in sylenth to Massive's dimension expander. So go ahead and mess around with that a little bit, changes the sound, makes it sound pretty cool. Make sure the retrig is on. Your amp envelope, go ahead and put it, your attack, put it 2.13, decay all the way down, sustain all the way up, release just barely on, put it to like 1.8. That'll get rid of any clicking if there's any clicking in the sound. Your second oscillator, do the node at -5. Don't detune this one. Again, mess around with the stereo. I have it all the way up on this one. Make the voices at 2. Make your wave an H pulse. Filter A. Do input select. Do AB. Filter type. Low pass. Got the cutoff around 1100 hertz. Resonance at 1.67. Your drive 3.81. The filter control around 1100 hertz, resonance at 7.53, your key track at 7.09. Let's move over to part B. I only use the first oscillator here on part B and do that at the octave at -2. Just keep it on a saw wave. Your voices, do 2. Go ahead and detune this one a little bit too. I did detune at 1.25. Again, mess around with the stereo. Just leave this one at 0. Should leave it off. And then let's go down here to the bottom. Do this first, your mod envelope. Put it to cutoff AB. And move this around to about 2.61. Keep your attack at 0, the decay at 4.4, about 4.5, sustain at 0, and your release at 1.24. Mod envelope 2, cutoff AB as well. The decay on this one, 1.75. Keep the attack at 0 as well. Sustain at 0, and release at 1.1. And move this little knob to just barely turn it on to 0.35. Your first LFO, change the waveform to random, and go ahead and move the rate to 4/1T, and just barely turn the gain on to 0.33. This is we're gonna have the LFO affect the pitch of part A. And just barely turn it on, put it to 0.5 on this little knob here next to the pitch. This second insert here, put it to cut off A, and as well, just barely turn it on. I have it at 0.05. Under your miscellaneous tabs, the source, velocity, and aftertouch. First one do velocity, second one do aftertouch. Go ahead and put this to mix AB and turn this knob to 4.05. Next one is cutoff AB, put it to 2.74. Put the source on this miscellaneous 2 here on aftertouch. Next one down, cut off AB and put that to 2.04. Next one down, do the mod wheel and change that to your resonance AB and put that at 6.07. Make sure the mono legato's clicked on for the portamento and put the time up to somewhere around 4. I have mine at 3.87. Make sure sync is on up here at the top. And you should have something like this. Let's go ahead and get rid of these inserts so you can hear what it sounds like without that. So that's what it sounds like without the inserts put in. So let's go ahead and see what I did with these inserts. All I did for the EQ was I just did a low cut at 30 hertz. It'll just cut out anything below 30 hertz, which you should do on almost every single track of yours. Guitar Amp Pro. This is a really good plugin that Logic has. I love this thing. Go ahead and put this first one on American Gain, your amp. Put the amp on American Gain. Keep the gain at 5. Crank the bass all the way up. Make sure your EQ is on modern. Make sure you're on direct box. This is going to make a big difference. Whenever I use Guitar Amp Pro on my synths, I make sure that I'm using it on direct box. I think it just gives a way cleaner sound. Go ahead and put the mids to 2.4. Your treble, boost it a little bit to 6.2. Leave the presence where it is in the middle at 5. And your master, I put the 5.3. I just boosted it a tiny bit. And that is going to give you this. Now, the compression is where you get a lot of your volume now. And what I do with mine is I sidechain it to my kick and my snare. And what I do is I route my kick and snare to their own buses. I first route my kick to bus 1 and my snare to bus 1. And then I route the snare to bus 2. And then I sidechain the kick to the snare so that whenever the snare hits, the kick ducks under a little bit. It's a pretty good trick. When you're doing your 4 to the floor, it gets the snare to stand out just a little bit more when it hits. So what you do with this is you sidechain it to the bus that has the kick and snare, which is going to be on your every beat. So put that to bus 1, and I've got it on class AU. The circuit type that I like using to get a good pumping is the class AU. The platinum is pretty smooth, so you can use that if you want a little bit smoother. The class AU, I find, gives it just a little, it tends to cut the signal a little bit more. So go ahead and put your attack to just barely turn it on. I put it to 1. Ratio 4.4 to 1. Release 270. Change that depending on what your tempo is. Get it to flow right. Then I have my compression threshold down to negative 27.5. And go ahead and turn the gain up as far as you're seeing it reduce. So let's take a look. You can see how this is reducing here. it's reducing to just below 25, so I boost the gain all the way up to 24. You just want to make sure that your volume on the track is turned way down. If your volume is still set at 0, it's going to be crazy loud. So go ahead and turn the volume down. By boosting the gain here on your compressor, it's going to even out the sound a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty much all I did. Again, this is what it sounds. So all I did here at the end was I just do some pitch bends. And you turn those on by going to your pitch bend right here. And you turn that on by clicking this thing right here. And go to pitch bend, and then I just do some pitch bends here at the end of these notes. So yeah, that's all it does. If you have any questions, go ahead and throw some questions in on the comments section, and I will be happy to answer any questions. All right.